What's up, everyone? It's Tito, and I'm back to finish out this book series with you all. We're going to start with part 9, which is also key number 5, and that is creating your ideal environment. And we want to do this because having the ideal environment is going to help clear our mind, help us be more productive, and use our time more efficiently. You know how they say you are a product of your environment, or like you're the 5 people that you hang around with the most? Let me ask you this question. What does your surroundings look like? We know that the environment affects all of us. Just like feng shui, like why is that even a thing? Because people know that the way certain things are moved around, it affects us. The mood, it affects the environment. So like when you walk into a room, how do you feel? So something that you can do to try and figure this out is just pay more attention to how your body feels. Try to be more intuitive when you walk into a room, or when you walk into your job, when you walk into someone's house, your friend's house, or wherever you're going. Try to be a little bit more intuitive of how your body feels. How does your body react when you walk into that environment? And that'll tell you something. In the book, I talk about 2 zones. There's virtual zone and the physical zone. And everywhere you go now, there's both of those zones in your environment because we have technology now. And they're pretty self-explanatory. The virtual zone is what happens on technology and what do you use for your technology. And then the physical zone, of course, is just going to be your physical environment, the people you're around, the places you're in, that type of a thing. So I'm going to read like two or three sentences out of my book. I'm on page 54, and I'm talking about the virtual zone. And basically I just say we use technology for convenience and efficiency to help us, but we can also use it without regard and then let it hurt us. So we need to be more mindful of how we use our technology. Moving on from virtual and physical zones, we're going to get into what happens in those zones. So one big thing is distractions. So the next page, on page 55, I go into distractions and different things that I use to help me not be distracted or help minimize my distractions. One of the first things I talk about are apps. So in this book, I wrote this a few years ago, so things have changed. But so I have new apps and things that I use now, but some are still the same. I just wanted to point out that I do use Evernote. I'm using it more than I did before. I do like Evernote a lot. But some other new ones is Trello. I think that's how you say it, TRELLO.com. That helps you manage your tasks, and it does it in a certain way. So you can check that out. Also, Pomodoro timer, or the technique of doing that. Which is kind of like you have a set amount of time. So let's say 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you do 25 minutes and 5-minute break, and then 25 minutes and 5-minute break, and then you'll take like a longer break, and then you go back and do like another session. So it's kind of like doing that to split up how much time you spend on a certain task, so you don't get overworked on something. And also some type of a cloud drive. I say in the book, I use Dropbox in the book. But now I don't use it as much because my space is limited on there. But I also have like the iCloud, and then there's Google Drive. So those different drives do help to transfer files back and forth or send them to other people, or just have them on the cloud so you can go from your phone to your computer. So that does help. I also talk about different books that I use to help me to figure out how to change my environment or to use it to my advantage. I talk about YouTube videos. So I do recommend setting up a playlist for like motivational music or relaxing music, focused music, that type of a thing. That does help, and to use that while you're doing things. And then I talk about different software, and I'm not going to get into that, but one that I do want to point out that is a really strong one that I've used a lot is Dragon Dictation, and that is how I wrote my book. Basically, it's a software that you put onto your computer, and you can use it with a mic. I have like a little handheld mic over here. Actually, it's not working like it used to, so I haven't used it in a while. But this, you just plug into your computer, and you talk into it. And there's certain commands you can say as well, like skip line or enter or whatever it is. And it puts that in there so you can talk instead of type, which I find helps me to write faster and get things done quicker. So yeah, I recommend that. So yeah, all of that stuff like the books and the videos and the software are all tools that you can use to help you be more efficient and more productive in your life, and to help you set up your environment to go a bit more smoother for you. But those are more like the virtual side of stuff. That's more the virtual zone. So the physical zone, what you would want to do is focus on your priorities, basically. You need to know what matters more to you. If you don't have your priorities in order, then everything is pretty much equal So putting out the trash is equal to paying your bills or whatever it is. So when you go to do things, you may put that before doing something else, and then by the time you're done with that, you get distracted, and then now you're too tired or whatever it is, or now you're watching something on your phone or whatever it is, and you have not gotten the main thing that you need to get done. So really setting what your priorities are is very important, and I've found this to be very helpful for myself. This is like a big thing that can really move you forward because, again, we don't really prioritize our things like we should, and we get distracted and do smaller things before the bigger things because the bigger things may feel a little overwhelming, and so we keep putting them off. But we can't do that if we really want to get things done. So we look at page 58. That's where I talk about this at, and I go into the fact that we all do this, but we put off doing like laundry and cleaning and stuff like that, or yard work, like paying the bill or confronting someone or whatever it is you need to get done that's a bigger task that's a little bit overwhelming or scary. Then all of a sudden, we do that stuff. We start cleaning stuff. We start doing the yard work or whatever else. We find excuses, and so we'll go do the other little stuff that we'd rather not do, but we'd rather do it over top of this other task that we need to get done. And so that's kind of crazy. But the thing is, once you get that big thing done, it's over and it's done with. You don't have to sit there and worry about it so long. And a lot of times we do that. And we just sit and we worry and we put it off, and then it gets worse because then it's the last minute to get it done or whatever that is. It's been built up over time. So it's just better to set it as a priority and just do it. Now, this next part is going to help you prioritize. And that is decluttering and organizing. Now, there is a difference. So organizing is basically sorting things into different piles with similar things. It's categorizing things. And I'm sorry about my beeping fire alarm. I got to get a battery for that. But organizing is sorting and categorizing things. Okay. And then decluttering is after you've sorted those things, figuring out, again, priorities, figuring out which one is more important. What are you going to take away and donate? What are you going to give away? What are you going to keep? That type of a thing. I know this could be a hard thing for a lot of people, decluttering and getting rid of stuff, especially if you've had your home for years and years and decades or whatever it is, and you've had kids and stuff like that. So you have all this stuff piled up and just, it's just lived in. You just have a lot of stuff. And in general, person, even me now, if I went to move, I would still have a lot of stuff because it's a lot of small things. So I can only imagine someone who's lived in their home for decades. Like, you have a lot of stuff because it's a lot of small things everywhere, And so it is harder to do that. So you have to take it in chunks. And I know it's hard to separate from certain things, but especially if it's things from your children, their past, or whatever it is, then maybe you need to box it up and send it to them to keep, or you only keep one box per person or whatever it is, and you get a storage place and you put that stuff in there and just get it out of the way so that you can focus on the other stuff that you need to get done. And if stuff has sentimental value to you, or you feel like it's worth something, you don't want to just throw it out or just donate it, then sell it. There's always eBay, there's the Let Go app, there's the Facebook Marketplace, there's OfferUp. There's so many apps and things and different ways to sell stuff now that, there's no excuse for that. You can definitely sell it. Just have a garage sale too and just set everything out there and mark everything, or say everything's $1, everything's 25 cents, whatever you want to do. There's ways to get rid of it. So just putting action into that and just getting it out of your house, it will, after it's done and over, it will make you feel better. I'm sure depending on what you're trying to get rid of and who it belonged to before or whatever it is, you're still going to have that attachment. But I believe in a simpler life, of course, with my lifestyle. I believe in minimizing things and living a bit simpler because it just clears your mind and clears the space and lets you focus on what's the most important things in life. And so I think it has more value in the end than holding on to these material possessions that can be lost in an instant. If there was a fire or if there was a natural disaster to happen, it'd be all gone in an instant. So if you can do it now and detach from it and, as you go along, that's better than, some people who've lost their stuff in an instant. We just had Harvey here, and it's crazy. I've talked to people personally, and I've seen this stuff on the news too and everything like that, of people who had to just leave their stuff behind. Thank God that didn't happen to me, but I did have one of the nights during that where I had packed stuff into a tote, and that was all we were going to be able to carry with us out the door. But thank God the waters went down the next morning. But yeah, I mean, that happens. So at least you have the opportunity to go through your stuff and figure out what you want, and then be able to sell it for a certain price if you want, or to give it away to people, give it back to your children, give it back to whoever it is that you want to. So yeah, I think that those are different ways to get rid of things that you have value to it for yourself, sentimental value, or you feel like they're worth certain things. And that is more of the physical side of decluttering and organizing. So there's also the virtual side, which would be cleaning your desktop. Now, I don't know if you can see, but that's my laptop down there, and it is a bit cluttered right now. I do need to go through that, and I do try and constantly go through it at least once a month and sort things or get rid of what I don't need. I have a lot of different folders on the side, the far side, and that's pretty much where I sort things at the end of the month. And then again, I have the cloud. I have different types of cloud sharing and stuff like that, or cloud storage. So I put stuff on there as well. And I have a hard drive that I keep separate, that I can put things on too. So just as far as virtual things, try not to have too much clutter on your desktop. Your email, try not to have too many emails just building up and building up. I know after a while that can just get overwhelming and too much, because my Gmail had like 6,000 in there, something crazy at one point, and it's not easy to get rid of all that stuff. You have to go through and only select 50 at a time, so it takes a while to get rid of that. But seeing those notifications on your phone, if you have that, it distracts you too, and you'll always be clicking on that, or it just feels cluttered in your mind. To me, I mean, may not be for everyone, but I feel like this, and I think subconsciously it helps to get rid of that stuff, because again, simplifying it down to only the important things that you need to focus on, so that you're not so cluttered and it distracts you and it overwhelms you, and now you're in an emotional state that takes you away from getting things done that you need to get done, and then now we're down this whole snowball effect, type of a thing. So yeah, as far as the virtual side of things, we want to keep our desktop and our phones clean of notifications, clean of, emails if we can, or just turn off the notifications at certain times while you're doing certain work, or things like that when you don't need to be distracted, and clean up your desktop. And save your files in certain places. Also, another way to declutter, I guess is more so of decluttering, getting rid of what you don't need and keeping what you want. As far as the virtual side of things, would be like your timeline on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is that you use. I do this every so often, maybe once a year or so. Well, I'll go through and I'll delete or unfollow certain people or certain pages or whatever it is, because maybe they're only putting out negative vibes, negative things. They're only putting out things just for attention or whatever it is, and it's not conducive to what I want to do, and it doesn't help me feel good. If I get on there and I leave from that website and I don't feel good, then that's not a good situation. Either I need to change what I see on that website, or I just don't need to be on that website. And that was something with Facebook. I'm still not really on there anymore a whole lot, and I struggle with that because I want to connect on there and share things and stuff like that, but it's just, I feel like there's a lot on there that I don't want to see and I don't want to deal with, so that's why I stay off of there. But yeah, I mean, it's a good way to communicate and things like that, but is it really worth your energy and, your emotions being down and things like that? Is it really worth that? Or is it worth getting off of there or finding a different outlet to communicate on or to find things on? So yeah, I would suggest cleaning your timeline as much as you can, and then go and follow people who help keep you focused on the things that you want to be focused on. So on page 61, I talk about cleaning in your perspective of cleaning, because some people, they don't really like cleaning. Some people like cleaning. I'm indifferent. If I'm in the mood, then I'm cleaning everything. And if I'm not in the mood, then I don't want to clean. But I do like to have a clean house. I have to have stuff clean because I know my environment affects me greatly. And if it's not clean, then my mind's not clean, and I can't really get what I want to get done. So I have to have a clean environment. And one thing that's helped me, which is why I'll put it in the book, is thinking of cleaning as an exercise or an activity that will help you. So if you can't go to the gym, if you don't have gym membership, whatever it is, this can be your workout. So while you clean, focus on your movements that you're doing. You know, if you're doing some twisting movement, pulling laundry out or whatever, tighten your abs, focus on your movements as you move, and you're getting a good ab workout just doing this little twisting movement. Or, you know, if you're sweeping or whatever it is, try and find some sort of movement that you can focus on and make it a workout. And now you're doing two things at once. You're getting your workout and you're cleaning. Throw on some music and you're good to go. Another thing I talk about on that page is going through like your bills and just papers and things that you need to go through that's piled up, all this mail and stuff like that. Go through that mess. Get rid of the stuff you don't need. The bills and stuff you need to keep track of for tax reasons or whatever it is. Keep those in a separate pile. Throw away the rest, shred the rest, whatever you need to do. Take those other ones, put them in a certain folder, whatever it is. But doing that, I know you don't have to do it. You don't want to look at that stuff. You want to look at how much debt you're in or whatever it is. But you have to. You got to get it done. It has to happen. Do it. Get those papers together. Have them organized. And that will just help you just feel like you have more clarity, more direction. And then from there, you can make a plan because you know like what you need to get done or, you know, what is owed or what is due. And then you can make a budget plan. I mean, like, you know, it's got to get done, so might as well get it together. You know, stop just letting things go, and then you wonder why you feel so overwhelmed and stuff. Try and get it together. Let's get it together this year. Get it organized, ready to go. Make your little budget plan, and that way you have direction and you know where you want to go. And yeah, it's just going to help you feel. I feel like it's going to help you feel. I know it does for me. It helps you feel like you have more direction and more clarity and more, you know, you just know where you want to go. All right, and to wrap this up, on page 62, I pretty much gave you in this one paragraph a few quick things that you can do for your environment, especially if you work from home or even at your job. If you can do this, these are things that you can do to help you feel a little bit better and set the mood and set your environment to something that is conducive to you. So, of course, playing like some type of relaxing or concentrating music, focus music. I use Spotify, but you can use Pandora or whatever music thing you use, or you can download some music and then just have a playlist on your phone or computer and have it playing low. And I would say without words, just like an instrumental type of music to really set the mood and set your focus. Inspiring pictures or motivational pictures, or have a vision board up to keep you focused on what you're doing this for. Why are you getting rid of stuff? Why are you decluttering? Why do you need this environment in a good place? Like, what is it for you? Is it just to be more emotionally stable for yourself? Is it to help your family? Whatever it is, have those things and images around you to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing. And painting your room a certain color if you can, if you're at home. Maybe that'll make you feel better, make the environment feel better. Get a new chair that feels comfortable. You know, you want to feel comfortable to be more productive, because if you're uncomfortable, it's distracting and you can't really get a whole lot done. So yeah, doing those different things. If you can, get outside, get you some fresh air, some sunshine, that helps. I have here drinking tea or coffee, sitting or standing, working outside or indoors. Find what works for you. So this is just your task now, is to, one, find out how your environment makes you feel. So if you need to change anything or not, and who are the people you're keeping around you, what does your environment look like, and make some adjustments. Do what works for you to get the things done that you want to get done. At the end of page 62, there is a quote, so I'm going to go ahead and read that now. Your outlook upon life, your estimate of yourself, your estimate of your value are largely colored by your environment. Your whole career will be modified, shaped, molded by your surroundings, by the character of the people with whom you come in contact with every day. So that's pretty much just encompassing everything that I just talked about. Your environment affects you, and it shows an estimate of yourself, and it also shows who you hang out with, and that shows who you are as well. So, and one thing to think about too is, I've been trying to think about this for a while now. The people that you hang around with, especially when I travel, I'm not with people. It's who are you reading? Who do you listen to the most often? Those are people that you have around you as well. So think about that too. Who are you reading? Who do you listen to? What are you watching? Those are people you have in your environment as well. So make adjustments where needed and do what works for you. That does it for part 9 and key number 5, creating your ideal environment. Thank you for watching. I hope there was something in here that can help you out. And I hope to see you in the next video. We're going to go into part 10 and finish out this book series. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Continue to shine on.